I've been working at the ABC for 17 years. In that time, it's been primarily local radio that I've worked in. Prior to that, I got into the media when I left school. I was living in the country. I was living in Warrnambool, or regional Victoria, and then I got a job at the Warrnambool Standard. Just being the office chick, I worked there for 4 years, and I was just the admin chick, and I was just doing a bit of gophering, a bit of running, basic sort of writing. And then I went for the job in the rural department here, just as a producer, and it was really what I've basically been doing at the newspaper. So that was my introduction here 17 years ago. In that time, I think I've done the same job for 2 years. Is the longest stint that I've been in one place. So it's been really good. And the ABC is a really wonderful organisation for that, because if you don't like what you're doing, you can just go and do something else. And it's kind of once you're in, there are many, many different opportunities.
I remember when I was in here a few months ago, you saying that you'd been doing a bit of work in regional as well. How does the role of producer differ between regional and metro stations?
It's very different in regional stations to metros. But the thing that's great about regional stations is that they have, for example, most programs there would have a presenter and one producer, and that producer will probably do many different jobs. So you're more multi-skilled. So if you're working a regional station, chances are you'll be a producer, you'll be a reporter, you'll be an online reporter, you just generally do everything. Whereas if you're working in a metro station, it'll be quite defined, your role, and you will be most likely just a studio producer and a producer. It's very different.
What do you look for in a producer if someone comes to you and says, I want a job as a producer?
I guess the one thing that it keeps coming back to, and what makes a really good journalist and a producer, is to have a really inquiring mind and to ask the questions. Because if you're starting asking those questions, that's what the listeners in Listenerland want to know. They want to know the stories. So if you have interesting ideas, you ask questions about things, I think that's vital. That's the number one important thing about being a good producer, reporter, journalist.
I guess I'm interested in, as someone who's looking at trying to start out in the ABC, what sort of advice you can give me as things that I should try and do to make myself more employable and more interesting.
Make yourself known to as many people as you can. Work out exactly what you want to do if you can. Always have a game plan. So if you really want to produce radio, find out all the talk stations in Melbourne. If you want to work in Melbourne, approach them all, send in your CV, annoy them, pester them, tell them what you're good at, ask if you can come and sit in. Can I just come and sit in for one of your programs? Find out, do your research is really important. Do your research about programs, presenters, stations, work out what you want to do. So if you want to be a producer, sit in on programs, just offer to do it. Consider looking at the regional stations. There's limited opportunities because what we do is pretty specialised, so there's not a lot of opportunities. So try and gain as much experience as you can. So by using that opportunities to sit in